Welcome back to War Thunder and welcome aboard the ST-A2. Now, I said in a few days ago that I will not likely make a video about this tank. However, the same day that I made the video saying that, I played a match that I think is worth watching for numerous reasons. The result, 17 kills. But you will not say that those kills are justified because, you know, it's arcade. But then, there is also something, you know, other games really don't have, and that is options. Options to grind the tank. And my overall strategic game in War Thunder is to have every vehicle that you can research, as many premiums as I can get my hands on in discounts and, you know, events. But then, I also want to have spaded all vehicles from rank 1 to rank 4. Now with planes, I guess, you know, at this point it's most likely done. I have not seen a game, a plane that is left. I spaded today the Lincoln. I actually, if I'm not wrong, have a positive kill to death ratio with my tactic that paid off greatly without, you know, the improved bomb load. And with tanks, well, there are 3 left. There is the FV4005 left, which I want to make the last tank that I spade. And then there is also the 2 Japanese tanks at battle rating 6.3 in arcade. That's the ST-A2 and the M42 Duster. And I don't like both tanks too much in realistic. And why is that? Well, they're awkward to play. In arcade, however, you have options. Not just are the battle ratings sometimes different in case of the M42, which means you have a lower battle rating because in realistic it's 6.7 and in arcade 6.3. You sometimes see down tiers and an up tier, whatever. The thing is, the M42 Duster is fast, you can capture points. The ST-A2's handling is so much better in arcade than it is in realistic. If you compare, for example, the Hellcat and Super Hellcats, they're not that much better in terms of handling in arcade than they are in realistic. In comparison to other vehicles in realistic, the Super Hellcat and the Hellcat are better than the ST-A1 in comparison to realistic when you take it into arcade. Now, as you could see here, I did my work around in Poland, and the Polish map is a little bit different to realistic, as just one side, the town side, has actually a spawn. And I use some dirty grinding tactics. One of them is being to collect 3 quick kills, even bots count, and then you can go into a bomber. How you drop your bombs? Well, you can see the old-fashioned holographic aiming circle. I greatly use it. In arcade, the bomber has a hefty bomb delay of around about something, I'm not quite sure, 5 seconds, 10 seconds after it touches the ground. So this gives you enough time to actually evade. Furthermore, there are fighters and you can just harvest them with machine gun. Yes, the ST-A2 just has 1 light machine gun, but it doesn't matter. It's good enough for assist. The next thing is, why do I choose Poland? Well, the ST-A2 is a bad brawling tank. It doesn't have the maneuverability. It does not really have the responsiveness. It doesn't have the turret traverse speed, at least in this iteration, because it is still a little bit stock and I'm, you know, on the way to grind it. And then there is the scope. Now the scope here has a magnificent magnification. Yes, I played a little bit with the words, but the thing is, this is very bad for long range, for short range engagements. For short range engagements, it's actually very bad because there is just the very good magnification. I'm not sure what the factor is. I know some very smart people will tell me in the comment section, hopefully. And well, there goes my 8th kill. So the thing is, Poland provides you with a lot of options to make this tank work. You go to the other side of the lake, and when you spawn from the west, you have a very biased position. A position that has no counterpart on the other side, because you can relocate, you can retreat, and on the other side you just simply don't have it. Also, the way towards this position is easier than on the eastern side, at least in my opinion. Now, in realistic, I really think this tank is not... It's not that great, to be honest. The ST-A1 is, in my opinion, a bit more flexible. And that says a lot. Can you imagine this tank was once 7.0 in realistic? Yeah, there goes my double A's. In arcade, I agree, kills can get farmed a bit easier than in realistic. But one of the reasons is that you have just a more target-rich environment. Because in realistic, if you harvest like 3 or 4 heavy tanks from the enemy in the first 3 minutes of the game, those players are out. They are very unlikely to respawn, especially when they are in top tier heavy tanks. Then they need all the 450 spawn points. In arcade, you have 3 spawns guaranteed. And that is just nice. That is just nice. Now here we have some very dubious shots on the KV2. We had previously a few dubious hits on other vehicles. Strangely, however, I'm not complaining about the Russians the last few days, but King Tigers and Tigers. With the 90mm, I just don't get, the penetrations from the side. Point blank range. Is something wrong with the shells? Are the side platings of the Tiger and King Tiger, were they buffed or something like that? I don't know. However, I get into the next bomber. Very important is here to get into a safe location for the duration of the for the mini event that it is. I dropped 2 bombs on the IS-2 and 1 on the Hetzer, 1 on the Panzer 470. And then I tried to get this Kia 84 and 2 targets destroyed. So those were 12 kills. At this point I'm just leaving the vehicle. It's not worth waiting for the end of the mini event by itself. And I also got the Kia 84 kills, so 13 kills. And 14 kills because I harvested another Panzer 4J. And I tried to machine gun the Tempest Mark V. I hit him actually a little bit, but sadly not with the main gun. The next point is, you can see I'm actually kind of running short on armor-piercing high explosive ammunition. Now, the next thing is, you see here this great scope. It deceives you. Very often when you just want to make a snapshot, your tank wiggles a little bit. And then you kind of go off the target by a bit. Actually, my shell was overtaken in flight by another shell. And that cost me the T-34-85 kill. But, nevertheless, the most important part about this match is that it is fun, it's short, it actually gives me a reward, it's good for grinding, and I can learn this good scope better. Yes, the aiming reticle is a help in arcade, but still at longer distances you need to know if you still can penetrate the enemy tank. You need to know if you can shoot through obstacles despite having no green indicator, and also lead certain tanks, and also where to shoot. I think arcade is more than just a good training ground. It is the way to perfection. And everybody who doubts that, well, go on and, play mindlessly in every tank that you play realistic. Certain tanks are just better performing in arcade than they are in realistic, and the other way around. Beautiful kill there on the Stuck 3G. That was my 16th kill. Now at this point the enemy team actually runs low on tanks, and this Panzer 470 actually went into cover. I'm having here a very small shot on the IS-2, but I don't want to donk the shot, and he actually gets taken out by a Jagdpanzer 4. I think overall the meta in arcade is much better for the ST-A2 than it is in realistic. In realistic, again, the lack of mobility and especially the maneuverability, you feel massive drag because the tank is rather long, or it feels rather long. So arcade definitely gives you that little bit more snappiness. Having said that, the ST-A2 still feels very sluggish, very unresponsive in arcade when you compare it to other arcade driving models. And with planes alike, I think it feels like unnerved, it feels more alive. You think you can achieve more with it. For example, in my 17th kill against the Panzer 470. Now at this point, I think that was it with the enemy team, and I just have 1 APHE around left and 10 APCR. Why do I take APCR shells with me, especially for arcade when I face King Tigers head-ons? But that is practically, when you are top tier or nearly top tier, the only tank you really have trouble. So that's the match. Let's have a quick look at the post-battle results. And well, the next fine thing is that arcade is also rewarding. Let's have a look at the silver lines. 91,000 silver lines and 5,496 research points. At the first point, this looks like a rather low amount, but you have to see my battle activity actually was 95%. And again, then the reward looks low. However, it is rather huge because I was sniping and I was not brawling. If I would have achieved 16 kills and 1 aircraft with brawling, it would have been substantially more. And I had first place with nearly 4,000 score points, without any boosters being applied. Before we end the video, I just want to give you a basic message on the way, and I mentioned it a few times. Never forget about arcade. With planes it's something different with like tanks, and the message that goes for the ST-A1 goes also for the ST-A2. Make the most out of your tank, avoid head-on engagements, and try to make it a flanking machine, and in this matter arcade just simply performs better. With the ST-A1, I said once that it is like a slow light tank, and that's not really always a nice thing, because a light tank's trademark is the speed. However, I think the match just justified it. If you drive it like a slow super Hellcat, you get the decent results, and it has kind of in arcade the maneuverability and mobility to do so. Anyways, that's it for me today. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Please give this video a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the battlefields of War Thunder.